According to Brad Bradley, quote, "We need help. This is our last shot." What exactly is Brad talking about? Another lead that's emerged in the case of his missing sister, Amy Bradley. Hi, I'm Denise from Fascinating Cases. I can't get the case of Amy Bradley out of my head. I've been watching videos and reading articles. I try to get my information mainly from either interviews with Brad himself or from the website amybradleyismissing.com. We all know by now that Amy went missing off that cruise ship back in 1998. Two main themes exist, really. She fell off the balcony or she was taken off the ship. Personally, I believe she was taken off. Many people disagree with me, but I think there has been too much going around sightings that she was or is still alive. The Netflix documentary, Amy Bradley is Missing, has brought in lots of leads, according to the family. The latest information concerns an ex-Curacao police officer named Herman Golio. Now, I've read that he wasn't a cop after all, but just a clerk in the department. But he claims to have seen Amy alive in 2016, and the last reliable sighting was from 2005. It was that woman in the Barbados restroom, and that's when Amy said, "Can we go see the children?" Netflix did not mention this 2016 sighting of Amy by Herman Golio. The administrator of the website, Amy Bradley is Missing, posted a lengthy piece on Herman Golio. Golio says he has not only seen Amy on the island since 1999, but he also has spoken to her, and he knows who has her. But is this just another scam against the Bradleys, a money grab? According to Golio, it's a Cuban drug lord who has Amy. Golio went to this drug lord's house in 2016 because he was interested in buying the drug lord's Harley-Davidson motorcycle. And that's when he saw Amy and even spoke to her. She was eating watermelon and was not smiling. I would like to know what they talked about. Did he immediately recognize that it was Amy Bradley? He had no answer when asked why he didn't report the sighting. Investigators visited Golio in October of 2024 in Curacao. Golio had been texting the Bradley family, giving them hope. Investigators went to Golio's residence, and he wasn't home. They left a note to contact them. Golio again texted Mrs. Bradley, who then arranged a meeting between investigators and Golio at Starbucks in Curacao. Investigators waited and waited for Golio to show up. He didn't, and they proceeded to leave. And that's when they spotted him right outside the Starbucks entrance. Investigators approached Golio. He seemed nervous and sweaty. They asked him one question: "Is Amy Bradley alive?" He said yes, but she is a very different person now. When pressed, he said her captors have her completely hooked on drugs, which I thoroughly believe, probably from day one of her abduction. Golio told investigators he last saw Amy in 2016, and she's being held by a dangerous Cuban drug lord who has great influence over the island of Curacao. When asked for his name, Golio said only Bob. Golio was asked about Dechi, the taxi driver who said Amy approached him to use a cell phone. When Dechi talked to Brad and Ron Bradley 2 weeks after Amy's disappearance, when they went back to Curacao, he told them Amy was actually in his cab and he drove her to an area where trafficked women are taken. Dechi even told the Bradleys where to look.
When we went down 2 weeks later to search the island and hold press conference and all that stuff, and very sincerely told us that she didn't fall or jump, that she's on that island. And if you could have seen the look in his eyes and the seriousness of what he was getting across to us, it was pretty plain to us that he knew something more, but couldn't or wouldn't share.
Investigators believed Dechi told the truth only because he wasn't paid for his part in the sex ring and he was rebelling. Dechi died of cancer, but Golio said he was poisoned and killed. Investigators said Golio continued to sweat and look around during their meeting in 2024. And investigators gave him many chances to say his information was not true and to give the family some closure. But Golio looked the men straight in the eye and he said, "She's alive." He even told them how they took Amy off the ship. Information supposedly that's going to be released shortly. But it's been over a year since this encounter between investigators and Golio. They kept in touch by text, though, and Golio sent them a picture of a chess game. They knew they were dealing with a very corrupt man. Investigators texted back, "Your move." And then Golio blocked the investigators. They believe Herman Golio was trying to get money from the Bradley family. So is his story a lie? Investigators do believe human trafficking was the motive here, and Golio was involved. Investigators believed Golio was working for a man named Ali Mahami. I believe Golio saw Amy, but I think he wants money for more information. He is corrupt, but maybe he's also in fear for his life. Here's a quote from Brad on the matter. "We are still talking to him. He's told verifiable truths and verifiable lies mixed in. Hopefully something will come of it. I'd like to feel positive about it, but we have been told a bunch of crap by a bunch of people." Brad also said a female staff kitchen worker was very distressed the morning of Amy's disappearance, saying the señorita was kidnapped. Brad, in a recent interview, also cleared up some things about the investigation. He is very grateful to the Netflix producers of Amy Bradley is Missing. The documentary has brought massive attention, worldwide attention to the case, and new leads are continually being looked into. Brad does believe, though, that the 3-part episode spent too much time on Amy's sexuality.
I think the fact that the thing was only 3 episodes just made it quite impossible to include a lot of important information. And again, I guess the whole thing about Amy's sexuality kind of took up a little bit too much time, in my opinion, and didn't have anything to do with anything.
And I've said in past videos on Amy Bradley, I think the subject was brought up to allude to a reason that Amy might have jumped overboard. Brad said, no way. The family knew 3 years about her sexuality before the trip, and it's no big deal, and certainly not a reason for Amy to take her own life. Brad did say, interestingly, that Amy did have a boyfriend at the time of the vacation, and he was interviewed for 5 hours by Netflix producers. None of it was used in the documentary. The Bradley family does not believe Amy went off the ship on her own free will, and she did not go off the ship for drugs. She was too smart for that. The family believes she met Yellow early that morning, and he handed her off to employees. She was taken down to the crew level and taken off the ship the back way. Why was the family and investigators getting nowhere in Curacao? Because Brad believes the local police and maybe even the government are involved in this case. Brad believes cruise ship officials dropped the ball in the search for Amy directly after her disappearance. And he also wants to let Amy know they will never stop looking for her. I believe Amy could be alive, and I believe she did become a mother. But I think she has been on drugs since day 1 of her disappearance. And she is very damaged and different, and she can't even imagine what going home would look like now. What do you think? Have you heard of any new information about Amy Bradley? I'd like to know. Let me know in the comments, and I'll get back to you. I appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe. And hey, turn on those notifications too. I will be talking to you again real soon. Thanks again. Bye.